What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Football Boot Hour, where I am having technical issues all day long, but it shouldn't be a problem at all. Hopefully, we are live on YouTube, and all of you lovely people will be able to see us. We are talking about the cost of boots today. Yes, it's something we've spoken about before, but honestly, especially with the release of the alpha, it is many other things, but the alpha is the key tipping point, I suppose, to discuss it again. And I think we have to keep discussing it until, till the end of time, it seems. However, before we get to that, we should probably do our fun, normal things. So I would like to start with what have you been wearing this week? Because I have a fun video coming tomorrow, and I would like to give our viewers a little preview, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nice.
Do you want to go first then?
No, you go first,
Okay.
and then I will go afterwards. We'll bait everybody a little bit. They can wait to find out what I've got sitting here.
So I was supposed to go out on Thursday to finish up the review for these, but we're supposed to have a heavy snowstorm. So I didn't book the pitch. Next day rolls around and it's sunny. Clear skies, everything. Absolutely ridiculous. So today what I'm going to do, just to get some B-roll, which is wild for me to say.
That is wild. You said B-roll, and I was like, hold on a second.
Yeah,
what's happened here? Have you become me?
Well, no. I like to at least have, a first impressions training video, and then, kind of an end of the review training video. So I'm going to take a shovel to the local grass pitch, and I'm going to dig out a space for me to knock the ball around for a little bit, and then record my thoughts after
that. Nice. Okay, yeah. That seems reasonable. Oh dear. Sorry, I was going to say hi to Proper Boots up in the chat there. Let's go. Welcome. Good to see you.
And then I'll be.
And then you also got something fun.
Yes, I actually got these. Shout out to the Soccer Corner in Plano, Texas, the place I used to work for. Hooked me up with these. So these are the 442 Elite, and I will be reviewing these next. And they're actually pretty nice in hand. The fit's really nice as well. So I've already got an unboxing recorded and everything. So
nice. I was supposed to have a pair of those arrive today, but it just simply did not happen. The postal service sent me, it was UPS, I think, sent me a notification being like, your boots will be delivered today. And then they just didn't deliver them. So I was like, okay, amazing. That's cool. Thanks. I'm supposed to have those and the Furons come in. So we will not be looking at Furons today, but we do have the 442s, which I really like the look of.
Yeah, they're not bad. The pricing in Japan is absolutely unacceptable, but we'll get to that in a moment.
I don't think the pricing here is much better, to be honest. It is better, but not much better. But we should definitely get into it.
It's better when in pure monetary terms, it's better, but relatively, it's not.
Relatively, yeah. What's up, Dr. Astute? Welcome. Happy Friday to you as well, sir. A Boot Wizard member. Very, very welcome. Very happy to have you. And Numa Rodriguez has joined us. Yes, just in time you are, indeed, sir. Just on your way to pick up soccer. Perfect. What boots are you wearing? Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know what boots what boots you're gonna rock there. So you haven't actually tried the 442 yet. You're just waiting.
I haven't played in them. Yeah, I'm going to rent a pitch next week, and
nice.
Fingers crossed. Not fingers crossed, actually. Maybe I might wait a week because the Alpha 2 is releasing on the 24th here.
Okay.
Officially, like where they ship it out. So, we'll see. I want to try and
we'll
knock
see
out.
how it goes.
Yeah, I want to try and knock out multiple reviews at once. So we'll see.
Nice. At Lockhart Boot Blog to check out reviews and such like. Matthew is Matt is here with us, another Boot Wizard member. Thank you very much, sir. And what have we got? We've got the Morelia Neo 4 debut color. Nice.
Very nice.
Nice. Excellent choice. So for anybody who's just joined, I've been teasing showing these off. So this is an exclusive. Nobody else has seen these. I haven't even shared these in our boot group chat, which is like unheard of because everything goes in that chat. So I haven't shared these anywhere. The only people that have seen these are me, Andrew, and my wife. There is a video going up tomorrow. Speaking of Boot Wizard members, you can see it right now. It literally just went up for members about half an hour ago. So watch us here first, then go and watch that.
Yeah.
If you want to pick it up early, become a member, blah, blah, blah. But what I have is I have a fully personalized custom pair of football boots. These were designed to my specifications at my request and through the hands of Mr. Lockhart here, who made all this happen. So I've got to give Andrew massive props for that. And I will stop the teasing.
Ta-da.
Here we are. So I have a pair of Adler Yamatokyo in a completely custom colorway. So you cannot buy this. These are custom made for me. So I went with the white base, the red laces, and the red sole plate. I did have slightly fewer options than some of the other people that have done this because I went with the Yamatokyo. So some of the guys who went with like the Yatagara shoe and things like that, they had some like crazy like lilac purple options and things like that. So like you'll remember this better than me, but like Noah Kavanagh has a pair, Boot Maniac, Holtz boots, Chris's Footy Kicks, Substance Football. I'm probably forgetting people. I'm sorry. But there is a few people who have these, and they have them in all kinds of crazy colors. And yeah, so I have the Yamatokyo, completely custom with the colors. But on top of that, I'm completely spoiling everything I say in the video. But watch the video anyway, please. Thank you. We have Boot Wizard.
Yeah,
just
I asked
down
if they
here,
could put
so a
that
little
in
bit of
Japanese,
branding.
and it wasn't going to fit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's all right. And then on the other boot, I have my kid's name and my wife's name as well. So that's what we've gone for there. And the most important thing, like as much as it's cool to kind of design them and get customs, one of the things or the thing that I didn't like about the Yamatokyo that I reviewed was that I felt that the sole plate was a little bit too soft. It wasn't quite as responsive and as stable as I wanted it to be. Not necessarily bad, but not my personal preference. And what I really wanted was the midfoot shank out of the Yatagara shoe in a pair of Yamatokyos, which is exactly what I have. So I have a very exciting, I have the midfoot shank and so the midfoot shank with the, I've taken the insole out there with the Carvo insert is a wonderful combination. I had these out tonight, so these were the boot of choice this evening, and they're really starting to break in really, really nicely. The fit, I was very ambitious with this, so I went down an entire size, and I think it's going to work absolutely perfectly. So, like, my advice to people is to go half size down, but I went a full size, and yeah, it's going to work out amazingly. You can see how they're already bedding in. Proper boots, yeah, I have been having some internet issues all day, to be honest with you. I'm running this off a different system. I apologize. I hope it will pick up. But essentially, I am running this off a laptop through my computer, off a camera. It's a whole thing. It's a miracle I'm even live right now. The recorded version, the edited version of this that goes up on a Sunday at 11 o'clock will be perfect because it records independently. So that will be absolutely perfect. But for now, I will do my best to describe many things. But yes, I really wanted to just show everybody these. As I say, there is a video going up tomorrow at be 3:15 GMT, which is the full kind of breakdown. There's some really beautiful, he says, I took them. I made it happen, but there's some really beautiful on-pitch video that I got of these that is on there just to kind of showcase them and things like that. You can, again, I can't really show you, but they're already like turf stained to hell. So yeah, do go and check that out. And if you are a member, you should be able to check it out. Check it out now. So that is number one. I have many things to show this week.
Numa Rodriguez, he doesn't do Yatagarasu because James does not do leather boots.
Oh yeah, Yatagarasu was the way to go. So that is Andrew has nailed it. I don't do leather boots. I only do synthetics, and obviously the Yamatokyo is as close as you're going to get to a Yatagarasu without any leather. And honestly, it's beautiful. I'm really enjoying it. I think I said this to you. I don't know if there is anything different between the black pair I have and this particular pair, but this pair just seems to be breaking in a little bit nicer. It maybe didn't feel as nice immediately, but it's
upper materials are a bit nicer on the customs.
Yeah, I think the upper material's nicer, and I think it's the sizing change, but the heel has really worked for me on this. It was good before, but it's, the sizing change has really dialed in the heel, which is beautiful.
Yeah, if you look at my pair, come on camera, see the grain is so much nicer on the upper.
Yeah.
So it's like taking an amazing kangaroo leather upper and making them even better. So yeah, I imagine the synthetics have gotten a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. And it does look like it. Looks like it, feels like it. And the speed at which they started to break in was really impressive. Really impressive. I have other things to show because I have many things that arrived. So the first one I'm just going to show very quickly, and if anybody knows what it is, then you've got a sneak peek at something. So there'll be a video coming on this, but there it went. Cool. Yeah, good times. That's all you get to see. I also took these out. So this is the Predator FT. So they've been out a couple of times. I've got my full review on this coming. Thank you very much again to Mr. Lockhart Boot Blog.
Thank you.
I got these from you.
That helps me enormously.
Yeah. So I took these. They've been out a few times, but I took them out today purely for free kicks. I literally just stood there and hit free kicks with them. And I'm really hoping when I pull the footage, there's one I hit and it literally hit the very top, like postage stamp of the goal and pinged across into the other side of the goal into the bottom corner. And I was like, I really hope the footage caught that because that's the best thing I've ever hit. Okay. On to other things that I have been trying. So I have this. This is the GX2 Pro. So I've already tried the Luna 2 Pro. They're obviously the same thing with a collar, without a collar. But this is in the brand new colorway, and I don't mind it. It's not bad. For a takedown, it's okay. Like, I wouldn't say that it is overpriced because all boots are overpriced. But it's a very reasonable takedown option. The fit is very good. The materials are nice. It feels premium. It does border on, well, this is what you'd get if you just took Gripnet off the off the elite level model and had
Mhm.
Flynet. So this is looking pretty good. And I have actually less of that kind of bunching under the arch of the foot on the pro level model, which was nice. I also have the pro level Mercurial, which is excellent. Really, really good football boot. My only gripe with this one was the heel is a little flat. Like there's not really
flat.
enough kind of, it feels flat. I hadn't really noticed, put them on. I was like, oh, this heel's quite nice. There's the kind of like the soft bit in the middle of it and everything. And then I was like, oh, but that's a little flat. Again, this very much feels like this is what you get if you take GripNet off the Mercurial, which is the GripNet being pretty much the best thing about the boot, but there's some real positives here, such as the air zoom unit not being the same.
There. Oh, it's there, right?
You've just got the little
pocket in the heel.
The little thing in the heel. If you remember what they did with the T90 laser remake and things like that, so they just had a little
like a pocket that they stuck in there.
Under the heel. It does absolutely nothing, and that does not upset me one bit. But those are very good. Pretty impressed. I also have the GX2 Academy. Bad. Bad. Not good. And I have the Vapor Academy, which is all right. Like, that's not too terrible. The heel is surprisingly good on this. This is okay. Like, if somebody would turn around to me and was like, because this happens a lot, people are like, oh, I want a Nike boot. Like, they have to have a Nike boot. They have to have the most recent thing. They're like, I want a Nike boot. I've got 80 euros to spend. That's your boot. Like, that's your boot. Go and buy the Academy Vapor. It's not bad. That was a lot from me. 15 minutes in.
That's fine.
But Numa Rodriguez there. I think in the lowest tiers, Puma offers the best value for money. I think you're right in some areas. The Ultra takedown, I think that review is up on the channel. Either members can see it or it's up on the channel, one or the other. But the Ultra, both takedowns are fantastic. The King, the match is all right, but the Pro is fantastic. And I haven't tried the Future takedowns because I refuse to.
Future is very much the ugly. It's the ugly redheaded stepchild among ugly redheaded stepchildren.
I did have a couple of people message me actually because last week on this very podcast, I did say that my Future review would be up on Tuesday, so people would be able to see it on like the following Tuesday. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. The reason that didn't happen is because New Balance dropped the Furon on Tuesday, the V8, and I in turn responded by swapping out the Future review and dropping. It was already ready to go, but dropping my V7 Destroy. My V7 Plus Destroy review, the takedown, because if I didn't drop it there, it was just going to become obsolete. Nobody was going to want it, so it had to go up. So provided nothing else insane happens, this Tuesday you will get the Puma Future 8 review / Ranty McRanterson from me.
So he says. He says. Just got a pair of Yadagara shoes. Can't wait to take them outfield. Wish they still had those nice bags with them. Yeah, the bags, they just couldn't keep going. They were basically eating like $20 a bag.
Yeah. They are nice bags, but sometimes you have to make concessions somewhere. Exactly. And at least they are still providing they do still provide some kind of a bag with them, don't they? The black one. Does that come with all of them?
Not
or is that
always,
just with mine?
No, I think that's just with our customs.
Okay.
We'll see. I think they might have little bags with the customs, but we'll see.
Little bits and pieces, which is nice.
I took out an old pair of Air Zoom Total 90 Supremacies a few weeks ago with the little Air Zoom. The heel. It's very sad to finally say goodbye when the entire sole plate disintegrated. Yeah. Those old Nikes especially do not hold up at all.
Yeah. I think I've told the story in the podcast before. I have an old pair of Vapor ones, I think, that Yuli, our friend Yuli, gave to me, and I went to put them on, and I've only ever put 1 foot 3/4 of the way into one boot, because I put it in. I went to like kind of like move to do like to put my heel in and do the laces, and all I heard was you could just hear like the hairline cracks coming. I was like, take my feet out, taking my feet out, taking my feet out. Like,
no, Dr. Astute says he got a black bag with his Yadigar here, so I guess they're doing the little bags now instead of
nice. That's
more
good.
expensive ones. But
indeed,
I do. Before we get to our main topic, I do kind of want to touch on something that I've noticed, and not me, more specifically, you have been getting, channel's been getting bigger. With the rise of that, we're getting a rise of a lot of assholes, and
so true.
I don't know if they'll see this, but it needs to be said. So basically, there's another guy, he left 2 comments yesterday, and one was a fairly normal-ish comment, and then the other one's like, you know, you don't even play, I don't take my opinion from you, yada, yada, yada. And these kids, and they are always kids, they don't have the balls to come out and do their own channel, put their own face for the world to see, put their work in front of other people to see, and have it judged for everybody. Because that's what we do when we upload stuff. And they're too much of cowards to do it themselves. And whenever one of them says, I'm a real player, I almost guarantee that they're not. Every single time. Yeah. Every single time. So, yeah, it just needs to be said. Don't be rude to people on the internet. This is being done for free. For free.
Yeah. That's always the thing. It's like we do this for free. Yeah. Of course we enjoy it and we want to do it, but you know, it is free information, free help, free education, you know, which way you want to look at it. It is free to you and costs us an awful lot of money.
It does. And the thing is, like, I love helping people. I love getting questions, things like that and that. But every once in a while, someone just has to open their mouth and say something stupid. And it's like, why? We have a finite time on this earth, and you spent it writing comments like that. So,
yeah. No, it's like especially in this kind of community, like the boot community, there's lots of you lovely people in the chat right now. It's a very positive, we try and be like positive to each other. Like, I realize we're not always the most positive people in the world on the podcast. We like tear into like boots and companies quite a lot. But we like try and keep within the people quite positive. So, you know, we like to kind of keep it that way for sure. But yeah, it wasn't even thank you for that, Andrew, by the way. It wasn't even we don't even need to move to the main topic yet. We've got the new stuff to look at. New releases to rank. So let's have a quick look at those, which is probably going to cause my computer to have even more of a meltdown. So we're just going to see what happens. Let's talk about the Furon first. That seems to be the big one of the week. Oh, good. I'm glad you can see it because I can't. Yeah. So yeah, we've got the Furon V8, which is the brand new Furon. Yeah,
well.
I figured. You've seen it.
Yeah.
We
tried.
So it's the Furon, the New Balance Furon V8 in this kind of very bright, bold, like yellow, highlighter yellow colorway. Main thing, I suppose, is they've taken off the shot shield has gone from the top. They seem to have widened it out even further. So yeah, I'm interested. It feels, this might not be a bad thing. This is just my thoughts in terms of like what I'm expecting. It feels very stripped back and basic, but that might not be a bad thing. It could end up just being a very comfortable, very kind of, you know, stripped back, knitted speed boot with some what looks like very aggressive traction.
Mhm.
So I'm quite excited to try them.
Mhm.
And I think it's going to be interesting where I think they'll fall, because I'm like, are they going to be, can they compete with the Mercurial if the Mercurial's offering grip knit? And these seem to be doing something very similar, wider fit, aggressive
Mhm.
sole plate, but they don't have that.
Yeah.
Can they compete with the synthetics out there? Like, it's an interesting position for this boot to be in now,
Mhm.
where I am starting to think, like, where does it fit within these other speed boots, and what does it offer that is different that would make you buy it? I think it's an interesting point we're at with the Furon now, where it's guaranteed to be good,
Yeah.
but will people actually go out and buy it? Have New
Yeah.
Balance given us a reason to buy it?
Yeah. It's, these little iteration changes, they like ever since the V7, they seem to have found something that works. But
Mm-hmm.
DJ points out in the chat, like, it's nice, but the shot shield made it look different. And I feel like it looks too vaporish now.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look
and there's,
quite vaporish.
There's something to be said for, making sure your boots look distinct enough. Now, the sole plate, like, it's got that speed brake or whatever.
Yeah.
That looks interesting.
Which is an interesting decision.
Yeah, it is. So,
yeah. I'll be interested to try them. I expect them to be good.
Yeah, same.
But in a market where the speed boot is king of all things and essentially top of that pile, like for us at least, is the Scudetta.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be bringing something to compete in that market. You've got a new Alpha to compete with, like, and as much, well, I know you don't particularly like the Mercurial, but that grip knit that it offers is unique.
Yeah.
So I think they might struggle here, to be honest. I really do.
I think so as well.
But yeah, where would you like to rank it? Would you like to? What do we? Because obviously we can't rank it based on performance, just looks at this point.
I'll put it in good.
What are you reckoning? Yeah, I think good is a fair place.
Good, but it's kind of taken a step back.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just good is a solid one. Yeah. Next up, I have, again, hopefully if this works. So Ida Sports released 4 new colors in their Rise boots. They did. So they've gone. It's very much. Firstly, it's not red, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
But so they've dropped essentially a chrome and like bright yellow, I suppose, bright yellowy green in the boots. It's not Volt, shut up. So they've dropped that. Then they've dropped the reverse of that, so you can get kind of the bright color with the silver accents. And then they also dropped a blackout and a whiteout. So there are many new options from Ida with their Rise pack. They dropped it right across the board as well. You can get them all in FG. You get them all in turf. This is possibly my favorite pack of theirs that they've done.
Yeah, I think so too. I do like that one-off like 99 celebration for the 99 World Cup.
That was nice.
But I love the silver they use here.
Yeah, I think it really is done well. It clearly works with the materials that they're using as well, which I think is great. I don't love the big rise down the inside of the instep, to be honest.
They need to work on their branding overall.
Yeah, because I think they had that problem with the older. So I think they've come a long way from their previous generation of models, which looked a bit kind of clunky and like these big things with like the Ida logo down the side and stuff, to move into what is essentially a much more modern looking boot. I think they made huge leaps and bounds, but I do think they get their branding a little bit wrong on the boots. And I think for them, more than any other company, it's so important to get that right, because you've got to convince people to go and buy an Ida Sports boot and not a Nike boot or a Puma boot or an Adidas boot. And obviously, you want to get for anybody who doesn't know, Ida Sports specialize in women's footwear. So these boots are designed for women's feet. Everything about them. Doesn't mean that you can't wear them, but that is their focus. So you want to get women in them because it should be better for them. But you've got to convince them to do it with the right branding and the right look. I definitely think they're on the right path because those for me look lovely. I really like those.
Yeah. But I'd put them in good. If the branding was better,
I think they're good.
Great. Yeah.
I agree. I think the colors are great, but I think overall it is good.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And that leads us. So I'm not going to open up the 442 Elite because that's just going to cause chaos, and you've got them in your hand. There you go. Yeah. Thank you very much. So 442 Elite, obviously
James,
similar
look at this
color
nice
palette.
shade of Volt.
It's not Volt. I would say I would take a good stab that's highlighter yellow.
I'm pretty sure the box said highlighter yellow.
Yeah, that's the New Balance color is highlighter yellow.
Yeah.
Andrew Palmer has just joined the chat there with us.
Alpha rant.
Alpha rant. It's coming, man. It's coming. Alex Martinez as well. You haven't missed much yet, mate. We're just talking about obviously what we got in and what we're ranking. We'll get onto the alpha yet
soonish.
And yeah, soonish and very soon actually. So that leaves us only with one other boot for the week.
Where are we gonna rank this?
We didn't rank that. Sorry, my bad. Good.
It's okay. Good's fine.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think meh is too harsh, but I don't think it's great. I think good is a reasonable place for that to be. And then this is the one that I have. Oh, too slow. I hope everybody saw that.
Yeah. That one off.
So this is you can't buy these. These were for Vicky Lopez for winning the Golden Girl. Somebody did point out, and I think quite accurately, they do look a reasonable amount like those Football Emotion Kings League boots. They're just gold instead of more of a yellow, but on the whole, they do look very similar.
Those are gorgeous.
Beautiful though, absolutely beautiful. Not upset one bit about those. I always find they do a lot of companies do really nice women's like one-offs for Bonmati, for Vicky Lopez, etc. And we never get to buy them. They just have these really amazing one-offs.
Right. Yeah, that's so silly.
But I think these can't go anywhere other than great, despite the fact that we can't buy them. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Nice. Tony Campbell down there, did you do the New Balance Furon V8 already? We did, my friend. We did. We discussed that one already, and it went in good. It was second tier, which I think is fine. As my internet is weird, is that picture gone, Andrew?
Yes.
Excellent. Then we shall move along. We'll start with I think before we jump into the rant, but we are obviously going to start with the alpha. iReinforcements here. Any insider info if the Alpha 2 will have an elite version? I would imagine it will. You know better than me.
Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will.
There'll be an elite version. Yeah, that's fine. So yes, there will be an elite, and I would imagine it will be fantastic because of course it will.
Their elite stuff is good.
Yeah. Tony, V7 Plus, fantastic football boot. Really, really good. Made it into my top 5 speed boots of the year for last year, actually, which I think was maybe a controversial choice, but I think it's a really great football boot.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it. So, on to the main topic.
The Shadow Pros.
The Shadows. Footloose. I'm so sorry. I always forget about your Under Armours. So the Shadow Pros, I don't have a picture of them. I'm sorry. So Under Armour dropped the new Shadow Pro 3. There is Footloose Boots has a pair, has some images and such like up. Noah Kavanagh has a review up. like, so J Mike has them, but was there a review? I don't think there was a
I don't
review,
think
was
there
there?
was a review.
No, I don't think there was a review either. So these are black and red.
Mhm.
They've definitely giving me Flyknit Ultra vibes,
Mhm.
like with the way the ribbing's done through the knit. And by all accounts, they are supposed to be fantastic.
Yeah. The what I loved in Noah's video on them is the close-up shots. You can see like little changes of color inside the knit. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is really well put together. Like, I love when they do little details like that. Everybody's saying they had a short. Unisport had a short.
Okay. But yeah, I think that the Under Armour have finally got something right repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like, Under Armour are just the kings of, oh, we've got this thing and it's good, but we're just going to mess it up now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They've gradually gone with, so the Shadow Pro 1 I didn't particularly love, but it was a solid base for something. Like, there's a way to build from that. Then they release the Shadow Pro 2, which is a very good football boot.
Mm-hmm.
You maybe wouldn't argue that it's like kind of top, well, Footloose boots would, but maybe you wouldn't argue that it's like top of the pile in terms of all the boots that are out there, but severely underrated, very, very good football boot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got the Shadow Pro 3, which looks like another improvement in that line and might be something, for example, we're talking about the Furons, the V8s there, where do they fit? I feel like the Shadow Pro 3 is actually doing something different and has enough intrigue about it. That does have a place. That I'm like, okay,
definitely.
There's a knit speed boot I want to try.
Exactly. That's like, I wanted to give the Shadow Pro 2 a go just because Footloose evangelizes them like crazy. But without him even, obviously we saw him with the 3, but like having seen what he put out and then seeing that reinforced by Noah, it's like, I should try these.
Yeah, for sure. So Footloose boots, you have officially managed to influence essentially everybody, and we're all going to go out and buy
Alex
Shadows.
In the chat said he got a used pair for $42.
Nice. If anybody has questions about the Shadow Pro 3, go and hit Footloose Boots up. He will give you some inside information. Andrew and I haven't tried them yet, so go hit Footloose Boots up. He will give you all of that info, or just go and drop him a DM because it'll be funny. Just drop him a DM, be like, Shadow Pro 3, Shadow Pro 2. We love the Shadow. Just spam him.
Yep.
He'll love it.
Yep.
Chris Pottle has joined us. Hi, Chris. Thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Astute, they look great, but not good for AG. They don't look good for AG. You are correct.
It's not so bad.
They do really need an AG sole plate. And Numa Rodriguez as well, I'm afraid, of the stud pattern, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
I actually only wore the Shadow Pro 2 in SG, but that's just because I managed to get an SG pair really, really cheap. So that was just what I went with. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I think that's good as well. I think that's another good colorway, good looking boot. Rank it in there?
I'd put it good. I want to see what they're like in hand. But yeah, definitely good.
Yeah.
They look very this is one of those that they have the potential to go in great retrospectively.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I think that they've got it. They just need to fix the other line that they've got now. It's the Magnetico.
Yeah. What a
But yeah.
That certainly is a thing.
That's a thing that happened. Speaking of things that happened,
they certainly released a shoe. That is one of the shoes on the market.
Yeah, indeed. So, as I say, speaking of things that happen, flawless segue. The Mizuno Alpha 2 dropped everywhere. So, obviously, it was available last week, but is now available everywhere. You get it in the EU, you get it in the UK. And this prompted us to enter into a discussion about pricing, because it's so. Firstly, the pricing on the Alpha 2 Japan is insane in most places. And then on top of that, we have the variance in pricing, which is beyond anything else that I have seen in recent times in different markets. So should we start there? Like, how much do you pay, or would you pay, for the Alpha 2 Japan in Japan?
So I think the equivalent in euros is 153, so that's about $156.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, shut the front door.
Yeah, I had I've had a back and forth with a dude in Unisport's comment sections, because I was like, you know, these are very expensive, yada yada yada, and he was like, just get the Elite then. And I was like, well, actually, I live in Japan, so you know the MIJ is actually pretty cheap. And he's like, why are you complaining then? And I was like, because it's expensive for other people. Like, I don't get this whole like not having empathy for other people. Like, I'm getting stuff at a better price, therefore I want other people to also be able to do this. Not like, haha, I got mine, screw y'all. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's very much a, look, I've got, the way to look at it is look at what I can buy them for. Therefore, you should also be able to buy them for, like, no, not the same. Obviously, we've got to consider export. They're made in Japan, etc. So there's shipping, there's export, there's import, there's taxes, there's charges. We have to consider all of that. Like, the price difference is where we're at here. So in euros from Unisport is 330 euros. Which is more than double the price that you would pay in Japan. And then on top of that, if you were to buy them from the UK, from ProDirect, it's £300, which is 360 euros. So, like, there is always a difference between euros and pounds, usually of about 10 euros one way or the other. Sometimes it's cheaper in euros, sometimes it's cheaper in pounds. But this is like a 30 euro bump simply for being, like, I realize there's various economic differences these days with Brexit, etc. But I don't think Brexit is the issue here. It's simply just a choice of pricing.
It is.
And like the UK is a 20-minute flight from where I am sat right now, and it is 30 euros extra to buy those boots. If you are close enough to London, you could, like, get on a flight, fly here, buy them, and go back and have a nice day out, and probably and get yourself a pair of boots for less money. And you know what I mean? Like, so I think the first thing is, why, like, the pricing difference between the different regions is madness.
I think so. I know this is part of Mizuno's overall strategy. They want to be seen as a premium brand, and that's fine. I think what happened, and like okay, this will make sense in a second, so just hang with me for a second. I don't totally disagree with the decisions they've made to have their boots more expensive overseas. What I disagree with is how much more expensive they are. So basically what they are doing is they are charging companies overseas what is essentially Japanese retail price for them. They're charging them as cost. And I understand why they're doing this. It's to cover their bases, you know, that way, even if the boots get marked off like 50%, Mizuno still makes their money on them. That's fine. And that's a very Japanese thing to do. It's like, okay, we'll agree to sell overseas, but because a lot of these companies came to, as I understand, and I could be wrong, but as I understand it, a lot of these companies came to Mizuno with this. And while Mizuno was selling in Europe before, you know, their change of strategy kind of got, the companies wanted more made in Japan stuff, so they went down that route. And I know Soccer.com specifically had to go to Mizuno because Mizuno wasn't selling in the US. and they did a small thing when they first released, and the prices weren't too bad. But as soon as MIJ stuff came into the picture, the prices were just ridiculously expensive immediately. So I wouldn't mind if Mizuno came in and said, we're going to charge like 260 euros. That's okay, right?
That's fine.
Yeah. It's still too expensive overall, but like versus where the rest of the market should be relatively to Mizuno, like that's fine. But above 300 euros is just absurd. Like that's just, I think it's almost dishonest. And I was talking to a retailer in Europe, and I won't say who, and I reached out to them, and they basically said, "What the fuck?" Because they didn't know, they had no idea that the prices there was such a massive price discrepancy. Again, a €100 price discrepancy is okay, fair enough, you can add stuff in, but like double the price of what it is here is just absurd. And I love Mizuno, but I'm not going to defend them doing overly expensive products. I think that's ridiculous. And even in Japan, I mentioned this before, even in Japan, the Alpha is seen as expensive. So, I mean, and it definitely isn't relatively, but it's quite expensive. So, I don't know. I mean,
DJ's just made a point in the chat there, which is exactly where I was going. Do you think other brands are looking at the likes of Mizuno and thinking, well, we sell more, so we should list higher, as Nike and Adidas see themselves as a premium brand? 100%. So like the problem right now is, so Nike sell the Superfly for 280 euros. Adidas sell the Predator FT for 280 euros. And the reason that they're doing that, or one of the reasons they're doing that and starting to push those prices higher and higher, is because they look at the likes of Mizuno selling their boots for 330 euros, and they're still 50 euros under, but they're all the time being like, oh, well, we are also premium. So they feel the need to push up to that. And then you get things like the Cosmic Speed, where Nike's like, oh, so this is the Superfly, but it's even more premium and it's limited, so it needs to get even closer. So now we're at 310, maybe 320 euros for a Nike Mercurial Cosmic Speed, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It does, some of that blame lies with Mizuno
absolutely.
for setting the market so that Nike feel like, oh, well, we can, and not only can we, but we should set that price.
Yeah. It's not just we can, it's we should do that. If Mizuno can do it, then we can do it. All we need to do is convince people like, yes, it's not made in Japan, but our products are just as premium.
Yeah. And they feel like part of the way of getting people to understand or to believe they're more premium is simply by putting the price up there,
Yep.
this.
And added to the fact that somebody, CD just pointed in the chat, Nike have a high turnover colorways, so they have to reduce their prices. Yeah, sure, but that doesn't change the fact that it's unacceptable for them to have those prices anyways.
Yeah, the prices shouldn't be that high to start with.
The prices shouldn't be that high, and they shouldn't have that many colorways.
Yeah.
It's not helpful for, it's not helpful to consumers. It's not helpful for the environment. It's actually really bad for consumers, because what you do is you give choice paralysis. And there is this idea that, like, unless it's like limited edition, or if you really, really want a new colorway, you should not be paying retail for this stuff. And I know a lot of people don't anymore, and that's fine. But it doesn't change the fact that they're going to keep setting these prices. You might be able to get a pair on sale for 200 euros, but in 5 years, is that on sale price going to be 250 euros? We're not that far away from that.
No, we're absolutely not. And I'm sure somebody will argue at some point, either here or in the chat, in the comments when this goes onto the edited, that obviously we were at a point with the Superfly where we were like many years ago, where we were up at these prices. We were up and beyond, like inflation wise, what these prices are. But they obviously had to bring them down purely on the basis that, well, that's too much money. So it's not a new thing.
They were too expensive and the boots were shit. So.
And they were crap, yeah. So it's not a new thing, but it is something that now seems to be, it's not just one or two products from one or two companies. This is the whole market. Like, you know, what's the saying? A high tide raises all boats. Apart from in this instance, all boats are being raised, and then all consumers are being stuck under the boats without oxygen masks. Like, it's just for me, it is destroying the market a little bit. And I just think, like, okay, yes, you and me, we get the latest boots, the latest colorways, and we do pay full retail to get them so that we can do reviews. But realistically, aside from people like us, I do not see that any other person should pay full retail for a pair of boots, that like Nike boots, Adidas boots, anything. There is no reason to pay full retail for a single pair of boots.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You would have to be a collector or something.
Yeah. Someone saying in the chat is that it's in line with inflation, which it's not.
It is slightly above. It's not as far above as we might be making out.
No.
We did that. We spoke about this before.
Yeah, we did this before.
we did this on an inflation
calculator. Yeah,
we did this on an inflation calculator.
I just did the math. Okay, 120 pounds in 2002 is 250 now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, be that as it may, one, Nike is using a repeat material for the current material. Two, they have cheapened up what materials they are using. And three, they're producing so many different colors anyways that the more you mass produce something, the cheaper it gets to produce, the longer you use the material, because, you know, that's just how it works. And it shouldn't be this expensive at this point. And they don't...
For sure.
And, you know, we've spoken before again and again about Nike's cost-cutting exercises. The insole is, like, there's no escaping. It's fucking shit.
Yeah.
On a boot that's that expensive is absolutely unacceptable. Like, this is the insole from the New Balance Elites. Now, the 442 Elites. This isn't amazing. This is still miles better than the current Mercurial insole. And it still at least feels somewhat premium.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
Interestingly that you bring up the Elites, because I also think that we probably need to touch on something you and I have discussed many times. I don't think we've really spoken about it on the podcast. This idea of this extra price point that's sneaking in as a result of the massive prices that the elite level boots are creeping up to. Mm-hmm. So not only are we now looking at having these elite level boots up at, say, 280, 300 euros. And then we've got the pro level boots, which I've used the Nike Phantom Luna 2 Pro a couple of times as an example. That's coming in at, I think, 160, 170 euros, which is an insane price for a first tier takedown.
Yeah.
So you've got these pro tier boots coming in, and then you've obviously got your academies, but there seems to be this wave of boots being put in to fill a gap that's between these obscenely expensive boots right at the top end and these kind of middle tier boots that maybe are lacking a little bit in maybe quality, fit in some areas, and giving you something in the middle which really is offering you something very good at a reasonable price in the market. The Copa Icon is, of course, the logical one to go to here. That seems like a no-brainer for most people if you like that particular style of boot.
Yeah.
It's 100 euros cheaper than buying a top-end boot, and it performs like a top-end boot.
Yeah. And it's you know, It's funny too because like I'll probably have this in my review because the thing I was thinking about with the Copa Icon 2 is even though it's relatively inexpensive, I still feel it's a bit too expensive. They could have come in at a little bit cheaper. Just a little bit, like another 10, 20 euros cheaper. And that would have been better in my opinion. But you know, I'm glad they produced it, you know. It's selling like crazy over here. Places are selling out, so But
I think it's the same problem with the 442 Elites that you've got there. So this covers two problems at the same time. So the first problem it covers is what we were discussing earlier with the different market pricings that don't actually make sense. We accept different markets have different pricings due to various different effects of currency, due to imports, due to shipping, all this kind of stuff. We accept that there is a difference. But how much is the 442 Elite in Japan?
Relatively, it's not expensive because the yen is so weak right now. So, yeah, so it's 33,000 yen, which is about 200 euros. Now, that doesn't sound terrible until you realize that the Predator FT here is 180 euros. So this is more expensive than the Pred FT is here. And I had mentioned this before. The 442 has never been a value for money boot here, ever. I mean, the previous generation of the 442, like V2 or whatever, that was as expensive as a Mizuno Morelia MIJ here. Like,
that's mad.
Their pricing here is stupid. I don't know how they think they're going to be able to justify this, but I don't know.
Because they're another one that, at least over here, they're falling into that pocket of here's a, they're a little bit more expensive than the Copa Icon, but they're falling into that pocket of this extra tier of pricing that we're finding from other boots, because they're 190 euros here. And they seem very well priced in America. They're $160.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be
very
180,
well priced in the
but
States.
like the store I got mine from, the Soccer Corner again, thank you, has them listed at 160. So I guess, New Balance told everybody 160 and then raised the price at the last minute.
Yeah, so they are falling into that again, that little kind of like additional price bracket of getting that more premium boot than a takedown, but not paying anywhere close to elite level money. But for some reason, New Balance seem to think they can charge more than Morelias in Japan.
I don't get it. And somebody's saying in the comments, and I'm not going to say their name because it's honestly, no offense, dude, this is a stupid answer. Easy answer, inflation. It's not inflation. It's greed. If it was just inflation, we wouldn't see these companies cheaping out on stuff. Why? Yeah. Okay, someone brought up the 2002 Vapors earlier. The 2002 Vapors had pour-on inserts in the insoles. They've, throughout many years of Mercurial insoles, they have yet to fully have that same level of cushioning in their insoles. The insoles in a Merc used to be premium, but now they're super cheap, and we're just supposed to accept that?
The problem is the prices have gone up. They are slightly above inflation. So inflation, prices have gone up as to a degree in line. You do if you go back a couple of years actually, and there's actually a huge inflation jump over from 2 years ago, which is also not helpful. But anyway, you've got your inflation, and then they've gone slightly above inflation. But not only have they gone slightly above inflation, they've cut down on things like the insoles, for example. They've also cut down on things like a lot of the marketing, like the way Nike market now. That's not anywhere close to the same. So they're kind of, these are fine business decisions to make on the marketing. But all you're actually doing is, like you say, it's greed, because all you're doing is you are increasing the amount of money that you're making while going, oh, well, we still need to increase our prices. It's like, well, actually, you don't. You're just choosing to increase your prices because you are being greedy.
This is what's even more absurd about the Alpha 2 is the price has not increased in Japan. They've just chosen to increase it, not in every market, but in the majority of the markets overseas. I genuinely like that for me is completely unacceptable. And like, it's funny because like talking to Adler about pricing and stuff, and obviously once Adler, when or if they decide to start selling overseas, at retail stores, the boots will obviously be more expensive because you have shipping and stuff like that. But like the prices, I won't say how much, but the prices I've been discussing with them are still going to come in under a lot of elite boots today. It's just like there's almost no excuse. I mean, Sokito's another great example. These are 200 euros.
Yep.
What about this? What about this has less quality than a pair of F50s?
And they offer you literally a standard discount of like 20 euros. All you have to do is the recycling thing. Costs you nothing. Like send back a pair of absolutely knackered boots and they'll give you an extra 20 euros off.
Yeah.
So you get the boots for 180 euros. Like there's 100 euros less than you pay for a Mercurial, for an FT Pred, something like that. So it is possible. Like, of course it's possible.
It's possible. There's just no willpower to do it. They don't want to do it.
And then well, like I understand, like capitalism is fine. If they don't want to do it, they just want to wring more money out of everybody.
Yeah,
but I think when you're releasing this many colorways and you're just flooding the market with it, and you're being like, here, buy all of this stuff, I just don't see the logic either. No. I'm like, you're like, oh, my product's premium, it's 280 euros, but in a month it's going to be 200 euros. Because
then your product was never that. Yeah, the whole argument, like, because there's so many colorways that you can get them on sale, like, then they should have been on that price for in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I think I sent a message into the group chat 2-3 days ago. I was in a sports store, and the new Nike Mercurial, the new Nike pack, I forget what it's called, Mad something or other, I'm sure, is already discounted.
Yeah.
It's all the boots were already 20 euros off. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like,
yeah, and and Mizuno in particularly, they do have a track. Like, they should know better, even in the Japanese market. The Rebula series, while it was popular, it never did very well because it was way more expensive than other boots, and in the Japanese market even. So like it was like a 50 euro premium above like the Morelia Neo and the Morelia 2 and things like that. But as soon as they marked it down, they all disappeared. So it means there was an appetite for the boot, just not at the price they were wanting to charge.
Yeah.
So the thing they've learned from that now is like the Beta is now the same price like the Rebula was, but the Beta, it's just like we're making 1,500 pairs and that's it. So people are buying those right away.
Yeah, so they're buying at
retail.
I'm just looking in the chat there. It's obviously going Jake just mentioning about prices being a signaling thing, and then we did discuss that, Jake. You're absolutely right. Obviously, like it's a element of them trying to signal the premium quality, and we were basically saying that Mizuno is part of that problem because Mizuno are setting that premium price, and they're saying premium price is 330 euros in Ireland, 360 euros in the UK, and they're saying that's what's premium, and that's obviously then bringing everybody else to the point where like, well, we're premium, we can do that too, which is another issue that we pointed out with Mizuno's pricing, basically. DJ, new brands, Skechers coming in the game, £200. I think Skechers came in too high.
I think
when
so
they
too.
First launched.
Yeah, they should have been cheaper.
I think they definitely needed to be cheaper.
Jake asks about do you think also brands have realized making their top end boots more expensive helps them sell more takedowns, makes them look better value? But the thing is, like, okay, from my past experience working at retail, that first level takedown never sells super well. It sells okay.
No, it's the third tier takedown.
Yeah,
it's the academy level.
Yeah. So and like I guess almost as much as we should harp on the fact that you know, the elite levels are too expensive, these third tier takedowns are hitting 100 euros when they should absolutely not be anywhere near that.
I think the I don't know what the exact pricing is, but I think the again the Luna is the example, and the Superfly, they're coming in very close to 100 euros, if not 100 euros now, for that academy level product.
It's absurd.
Very pricey.
Yeah.
Very, very pricey.
And then like I guess the canary in the coal mine is the Copa Mundial is going up.
I was literally just about to say the Copa. So I was in Sports Direct the other day, and I meant to send you this picture, and I don't know why I didn't. I obviously got distracted or something. Now it is for the white one, so it's for the white black, not the black white. So it's for the reverse color. But the reverse color Copa Mundial in Sports Direct here was 190 euros.
Like how is that acceptable? It's one of the best selling boots of all time.
That you've done nothing to for years.
You haven't changed it. Okay, I know your factory workers got a raise. So?
Yeah.
Does that justify like a $90 price range over 10 years, or 90 euro price raise over 10 years?
The black white I think is still 165 as well. Like, so again, pricey enough. But yeah,
well, this should piss you off. They're only about 110 euros here.
Yeah.
Again, these companies, if you look at the Japanese market, and excluding Mizuno, because, you know, the made in Japan stuff is always going to be cheaper in Japan. That's just how it is.
Yeah, because it's made in Japan. That makes sense.
It's made in Japan. But these other companies can absolutely charge less when it's necessary. It's necessary in this Japanese market because they know people won't fucking put up with paying, you know, the equivalent of like 50,000 yen for a boot. And like,
but is that the conversation really? Is the conversation that, yeah, okay, we can complain about the companies doing it all day long, and we should rightfully call them out and say your boots are too expensive. But at the end of the day, is the conversation we as consumers need to vote with our wallets more? We need to say, we're not buying that new colorway. We're not paying. Like, again, I go back to the Cosmic Speed, because that one really, like, the Cosmic Speed really has pissed me off with the pricing, because it just tipped me over the edge.
You're paying
it was too much, like
for
320 euros.
Boot.
Yeah, so that the Cosmic Speed tipped me over the edge.
It's like, it is crazy to see. Like, I will say this again. Unless it's and somebody pointed this out in chat, unless it's a limited edition, then there's no reason to pay retail for any boot.
No.
Any boot. Whatever you can do, look for discount codes. I mean, this is one of the things that, you know, we've got to give our tip our hats to Josh for several ways. He's got his affiliates sorted, but not just that. He gets all of his affiliates. He has discounts on stuff.
You always get discounts with Josh. Like, while we would, so I also have affiliates for various things, but I don't have discount codes for them for like boots. So,
but socks you need to buy through James. Socks you need to buy. Get a membership. Get a membership. You get huge discounts on socks.
So I would love you to, like, obviously use my affiliate links to buy your boots, because it helps support the channel. It's huge for me. However, I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, definitely use my affiliates for everything, because if you use Josh's, he will, you go on his website, you find the discount code, you can get 10, 15, 20% off brand new boots, you just simply by going and looking and using his codes. So well played to him, really.
And then here's where things start getting really tricky for some companies. So I know soccer.com for a fact actually overcharges and has higher prices than a lot of other retailers in the US. And this is because most of the people who shop there are Gold Club members who automatically get 10% off.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that they get the biggest discounts on their products when they order it versus anybody in the States. So the fact that
they're the biggest retailer.
Yeah. Where does an 800-pound gorilla sit? Anywhere he wants,
Yeah.
And they can get away with this, and they kind of do what they want. So, like, they're not helping. But yeah,
no,
like,
absolutely not.
If your boot is able to go on sale for like 30-35% off within a year of it being released, then that 30-35% off sale price should have been the retail price.
Yeah.
If that's an acceptable discount for you, then that's what the retail price should have been.
And we've spoken a lot about like this perception of value, right? This idea that, higher prices equal more premium.
Yeah.
But surely in perception of value, retaining your price is also a sign of value. Yeah. Like if my boot doesn't go on sale for a year, because, so you've got good pricing, but it doesn't go on sale for a year. Like, or it doesn't go on sale for 6 months, or it only goes on sale on like Black Friday for a week, and it goes on sale on like Stephen's Day for a week.
Yeah.
Like then
pulling
surely
out the Catholic holidays.
I live in Ireland. Boxing Day for those of you that are unaware. But surely then that's perceived value. It's like these boots do not get reduced.
No.
Like that. To me, that says they're in demand and people want them and they're good.
Yeah.
It's
like the whole market is just absurd. I've been saying this for years that the price is being too expensive, and they have been, and they're just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. And here's my thing: we can vote with our wallets as much as we want, but I think until it will be very hard for everybody to vote with their wallet. Now, I'm telling you directly, unless it's a limited edition, or even if it's a limited edition, if you see a limited edition and you like it, but you don't super like it, don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start calling out brands on their bullshit. This is unacceptable. Like the state of the industry, where it's going, the amount of colorways we got. I mean, I've mentioned this before. The guy who I replaced at the store I worked at in 2010, he was complaining about how ridiculous things have gotten and how expensive things have gotten and how we had way too many colorways. And now it's way worse.
Yeah.
And I met up with him at the end of 2023, and it was just like, I was showing him some stuff. He doesn't pay attention to the industry anymore. And he was just like, mate, I don't know how you put up with that.
Here's an interesting one, right? So within the same ballpark, but something we spoke about the other day, and I think is related to this. And this is, I am 39 years old. You are not far behind me.
I am
not. And Noah is coming up towards, like, he's late 20s. Like Josh has got to be around 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like J Mike is around my age. I think J Mike's the same age as me, maybe a year younger.
Mm-hmm.
And like you start to list through your reviewers, your people who are doing this. Where are the kids? Like where are the 18, 19, 20-year-olds with doing boot reviews, getting into boots? Being like, they have interest. Don't get me wrong. There's clearly people have interest. They watch our reviews, especially watch
loads
Josh.
Of guys
like things like that.
Very young and have interest, definitely.
But nobody's reviewing. Nobody's putting the money up to review because it's bloody expensive. Like these brands are not willing to invest in that, despite the fact that that's where a lot of their sales are coming from. And there's nobody coming through.
And I pointed out before, like, it's a wild juxtaposition when you think about it. The bigger and more popular you are on social media, the more likely you are to get product for free.
Yeah.
When the people who really need help are, people at the bottom. Like, I almost feel like, in a way, that brands should have some sort of social media starter pack. So
Yeah.
if you've hit 1,000 followers and you're consistently posting, trying to consistently do reviews, there should be some kind of starter pack to get these. I mean, these brands absolutely won't do it because they're greedy as hell.
No, of course
but
not.
like you see them sending, and I guess this is changing the conversation a little bit, but you see them sending boots to like these guys who have 200,000 followers, and they'll do one reel and maybe a picture, and that's it. There's no consistent, like it's in and out within a week. There's something new they're onto. And
there's no changing the conversation. Yeah. While that is changing the conversation, it's not, because the point remains is that something like that for a smaller reviewer, and I do not mean me or you or anybody at this point. What I mean is the people who maybe want to get into it, who are looking at it and going, that is 200, 300 euros for a pair of boots. I cannot afford to do that. Like, it's looking at not me, like, as much as I would love it, it's looking at the next person who's going to do it and being like, I am going to give you boots. Like New Balance, for example, they use a third-party agency for a lot of their stuff. And I think it would be beneficial for them to find somebody who they think makes good content, who they think has a good presence, makes some, maybe they're small following, but they make really good stuff and they're consistent. They can see where they're going. Support them now. Like, get them in, because like they're you're investing in them. You're investing in them to come in and benefit you in the future. Whereas what you're actually doing by not investing in them and by charging the prices that you charge is like, this is obviously, I'm more thinking about, I don't know if we can call what we do an industry, but our industry, what we do, our community, it's going to die. I can't review boots forever. You can't review boots forever. We are getting older. And there will be nobody left to do reviews.
The youngest well-known person in the space is Noah.
Noah, yeah.
And Noah's in his late 20s.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not calling him old. I'm just saying there's a huge gap.
Yeah.
There's a massive gap.
But there's quite a big gap between us and like kind of Josh. There's like Josh Noah, right?
Yeah.
Then there's kind of us and like a few other people like us. And there's kind of a big gap in that middle section there. And then there's a gap from Josh and Noah kind of there on that point to nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Someone points out Sub and LJ.
Sub and LJ. Yeah, that's actually very true.
I love both those guys. But again, the brands, both of them, they're not getting invested in properly.
Yeah. Nah, Sub particularly, like I love LJ. I think he does great stuff, but Sub particularly with his reviews, I think Sub's definitely got something there actually. And Sub is definitely early 20s, isn't he? Like, so really I think there's definitely something there.
Yeah.
I feel bad that I went there then, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Chris, I'm in my late 20s. Love the idea of getting some discounted pairs to review in my late teens and early 20s. This is very, very expensive to start up. This is obscenely expensive to start up.
Yeah. Dr. Stu, I don't know how you guys do this, to be honest. I may or may not, I'm touring with the idea of doing this. I need people to understand how expensive this is. So, like, as of this moment, if you see my Instagram stories, you see a lot of stuff for sale. As of this moment, the blog has no money. Zilch. Zero. And I don't have extra money to put into it. I have nothing to put into the blog. And I am selling stuff. I'm basically cutting off my nose to spite my face at this point. And I have to sell stuff. I have the next two things. I've got this review coming. These, because they were provided by the lovely folks at the Soccer Corner. And I've got the Icon 2 coming. And that's it. That's all I've got. The budget is gone. And so, like, part of it is because it's super expensive. I don't get boots from companies normally. And
no, neither of us do really. Like, we get very little across from companies and things like that. Which is, the people in the chat obviously know that, but the the general consensus seems to be that, oh yeah, you must be getting all these free boots. Absolutely not.
No.
But yeah, like again, for Dr. Astute, I pretty much, so I do make I make more money than Andrew would off my YouTube channel. But my YouTube channel literally pays for one pair of boots a month. That's how much it makes. So if you take a pair of Elite boots and you see how much that is how much money the YouTube channel makes in ad revenue a month. So that pays for itself. And my Gripsock affiliates that I mentioned earlier, they will pay for maybe a takedown over the course of a month. So I've essentially got a takedown and an elite level paid for. So I don't make any money, but I've got those paid for. But then that doesn't include the fact that obviously I'm sat here in a studio that I built with like a ton of lights, 3 cameras, like the software that we're currently recording on that's $30 a month, my editing software that's $30 a month, etc. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into that, but I was just it was just a point that I was making, is like I kind of feel like there needs to be more support for the next guy.
And definitely.
Yeah,
overall,
I think like, LJ and Sub are
LJ and Sub need y'all support.
Definitely that.
They're both bigger than me, so. Yeah.
I think they're both bigger than. I think the only place that I'm bigger than either of them is YouTube. I think they're both bigger than me on all of the platforms. So go and follow LJ Collects and
support their
Football.
stuff. Yeah.
Go and support their stuff. That is the call for today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And don't buy new boots.
Yeah, don't buy new boots.
Don't buy new high-end boots. Wait for discounts.
Yeah.
Skip limited editions, what have you.
Yeah. Yeah, don't buy boots like we buy boots. Like we're doing it to try. We're doing it to provide a service.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to do that.
Yes, buy secondhand. Buying secondhand, let me tell you, it's so good for the environment. Buying one thing secondhand offsets so much carbon footprint. It is absurd.
Yeah.
And and here's the thing, buying secondhand, you're buying from other people, so now you're benefiting the people rather than the companies. We're creating our own internal market. So
yeah, like definitely buy secondhand. Buy just do it. Get on Vinted. There's so much cheap stuff on Vinted. It's crazy.
Vinted, it's
Vinted is dangerous, especially if you get Vinted in the UK. UK Vinted is madness for football boots. I'd be so broke if I could get on that.
God, I think in between all my tabs I have open on my phone, I think about 15 are Vinted.
Yeah.
And I'm broke right now, so it's just window shopping at this point. But I can dream. A man can dream. Yeah. Buy my secondhand, please. God damn.
So there's a few good points that have just come in the chat there. So first one, Dr. Astute, buy Andrew's secondhand.
Please.
Like really, like I do mean this genuinely. It's a good way to support us.
It is a really good way to support us.
It's a really good way to support us. So by all means, please
we're pretty flexible with prices too.
Yeah, we're good people.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know if I'm a good person. I try to be.
Yeah. What else I say? Josh Paul gets my shout out for comment of the day, because anybody that's willing to back up my never-ending battle against the Tiempo Pro gets a comment of the day. Josh Paul, don't buy the Tiempo Pro. They bend funny. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they bend funny.
They do. The Tiempo Pro bends funny. God damn it.
Okay, this is a good question from Jake. If you buy secondhand and the boots are broken in by someone else, will that make the fit worse for you? It depends what it is.
It also depends how broken in they are.
I guess at some point it'd be really, maybe like next podcast we should kind of do something on buying secondhand boots, like what to look out for, kind of like our tips and tricks, because there are some things you should watch out for and stuff. And other times, God, I see some boots for sale here or on Vinted, or like I moderate Facebook group for buying and
Facebook,
selling.
yeah.
Some of the stuff that gets put on there, it's like, dude, throw the boots out. Like somebody posted a pair of Crazy Fast, and he's like, I just want to get rid of these Crazy Fast. There's a rip, and it's got a blood stain. $85. I was like, a blood stain means you need to throw them out. That is a biohazard.
Okay, just for reference, I have.
Hold on. You should do a challenge. 50 pounds. Buy the best boot you can get. It's funny you should say that. Go back a few podcasts, and we did that. Yeah.
Yeah, go back in the podcasts, have a look. It wasn't that long ago, to be fair, in the podcasts. It'll be there's a playlist on my page, which is all the podcast episodes. You'll be able to find it. And like Andrew and I both got insanely good boots for £50. I was also going to make the point. I'm literally sat here right now. I've just opened Vinted because I'm like, okay, I have a saved search on Vinted. So there's a top tip, saved searches. And I've just opened it up. It's listed as like the newest listings first. This is French Vinted because I'm in Ireland and I have access to French Vinted. There is a pair of F50 Elites, look pretty much brand new, €100.
Silly. It's so silly.
Like, why would you pay €280 for them?
I did something similar to myself, like the white chameleon color Messi F50 Elite that came out last year. I ordered it because I was like, this will go quickly. It did not. But the day I ordered it, I was browsing through the secondhand site here, and I found a pair for like 35% off retail. A brand new pair, and I was just like, no.
Absolute disaster.
What sizes are you guys? So James is like a US 7.5, 8. I'm an 8, 8.5.
Yeah.
So we're very close.
We got small feet.
Yeah. My fiance just walked in the room talking about buying boots. I'm in trouble.
Alex, I'd say we're sorry, but we're absolutely not.
We're not sorry.
CD, thank you for subscribing. That is appreciated. Thank you very much indeed.
Awesome.
Go give Andrew a follow on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
There's a comment up here. It's Clippy. I've been contemplating getting into doing reviews. I've got a collection of about 80 boots. Would be cool to share it with everyone. Dude, do it.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
You don't need to go. You don't need to go crazy. I tell this to James all the time. I was going
to say, this is going to be shots fired right now.
It's not shots fired. I'm trying to help you, okay? You're like, I need to make this look nicer. You do not need to make it look nicer. What you need to do, if you're doing video reviews, you don't need to buy a camera. Just get a stand for your phone camera. Make sure your audio is clear. Do a couple of test recordings. Play with the filters a little bit. And do that. You don't have to do anything crazy. Start small. My blog was very small for a long time.
This is what I tell everybody else. So people message me, and I like it when people message me this stuff because I have done quite literally years of research into this, into how YouTube works, what you need to do, all this kind of stuff. I am literally an encyclopedia of knowledge on YouTube, people come to me all the time like, I want to start doing this. What do I need? And I'm like, you need a window, a camera, which is from your phone, and a microphone. These are the only things you need.
At most, get a cheap mic and get a ring light.
A cheap mic. Doesn't have to be expensive at all.
No, just get.
But I would say the mic is important. Get a ring light if you don't have a window. You can get going for 50 quid. And you could be up and running and making content and just do it. Go full Nike. Just do it is my tip. You do not need to do what I do, but I built up to what I'm doing. Not to plug Yuli's mad obsession with this, but if you want to go and watch my very first YouTube video, it's very easy to find. And it was done.
It's a great watch.
It was done with a GoPro Hero Session, so the little square one, sat on the top of a radiator with no microphone, with me sat on the edge of a bed in a hostel room.
Yep.
That's how I started. And then the other day, I literally had a conversation with Andrew where I quite literally said the words, but are you sure I don't need 180 frames a second slow-mo here?
Yeah.
So
and it's just like
that's where so Andrew's like, no, you don't. This does not need to be in 180 frames a second slow motion. And I'm like, but does it though? I think it might do. I think it might do.
DJ, based on the conversation we had last night about you getting ridiculed for your boots and getting ridiculed from the people I know, it sounds like you just need to know a new group of people.
You need to know better people.
If people make fun of you for doing something you're passionate about, then those people can quite literally fuck off.
Yeah. Also, DJ, if you've ever watched one of my reviews, so obviously I all of them now pretty much have me out on the pitch and stuff. If you ever watched me kick a ball, I kick balls weird. Like,
yeah.
I shoot weird. Like, just it's a thing. Just let it happen. Like, it's not a big deal. Oh dear. Yes, Alex Martinez. If TikTok doesn't get banned, which it might, I'll start uploading on TikTok. Got roughly 50 plus to review. Yes, Alex.
Mr. Beast might buy TikTok, so it'll be all okay.
But even if TikTok does get banned, stick them on Instagram, man. Stick them on Instagram.
Or I don't remember the Chinese name, but the Little Red Book. Get
the
some
Little
new
Red
followers
Book, yeah.
in China.
Yeah. Yeah, boot community is a lovely place. Everyone come here.
Yep.
We want to be very nice.
Yep.
We've kind of gone off track on a massive tangent, but I'm okay with that. Where I think, realistically, the more of us that do this, the more people that talk about it, the more people that talk about the expensive boots, we could something going here.
Yeah.
Like, we got options.
I think that's ultimately the thing too. If we get more people, because I want there to be more people involved. I'm passionate about it. I know other people are passionate about it. So I want to see their opinions.
Yeah.
Like, their voices are important. Everybody's voices are important. You got to get it out there.
The more of us that do, like, reviews, the better it is, because then the more informed the people are who are going to be buying. And that does mean that you, me, DJ, Alex, whoever else, can all have different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can think completely differently about a boot, and that's completely fine. Like, there'll be some stuff that everyone comes together on, and that's great as well. But it's completely fine, because what we're actually doing is we're helping people out make a decision, and we're finding people like, DJ might have a wider forefoot, and some people are like, oh, I've got a wider forefoot. I'm going to go speak to DJ. Oh, I've got a little bit of a slightly narrower foot. Oh, I need to go and see Andrew. He's definitely going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's as much as we try and, there's objectivity in what we do, and there's trying to give people the best information possible. It's always going to be skewed a little bit. So finding a reviewer that suits you is really important. I have a few people say to me like, oh, Josh has never led me astray.
That's great.
Absolutely. Like, go back to Josh. Like, get your sizing advice from Josh if that's what works for you. That's what's important.
But the other thing, you should never just rely on one specific reviewer.
No.
I always try and encourage people, like, if there are multiple reviews of one boot, especially if like James or Noah or somebody else I know has done a review on that boot, I'm like, encourage them to like go check out that review as well. They might have something that I missed.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
100%. Sometimes I do it quite a lot, usually with Andrew, to be fair. People will ask me a question and I'll literally be like, oh, here's what I think, but go and check out Andrew's review. Go and check out this review, because it's a good second place. Josh Paul, he said, hard to find shops with top-end boots. It's hard to find shops with top-end boots in a lot of places. Here in Ireland, it's impossible. You pretty much are resigned to ordering them. But top tip, it's not the greatest thing to do, like, environmentally, but order them from Nike or Adidas. There is free returns if they don't fit.
Did that on purpose. It's almost like that happened on purpose. It's almost
It
like
did
there was a
happen on purpose.
conceded plan from the big companies to separate people from the physical retail stores from which they buy stuff.
Yeah.
But Nike has very, very, very much been like this for 15 years, maybe, at this point.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a big thing, and it kind of seems to have come back around to bite Nike in the ass a little bit as well. That concerted move to away from the brick and mortar and into like direct to customer sales and things like that.
They love DTC sales.
Yeah. Somebody just put down here, Jake saying, yeah, Josh Paul, so true. Sports Direct Oxford Street in London is about as good as it gets. If somebody is in London, the Adidas store in London is actually decent. It's way better than the Nike store I find for this kind of stuff. And if anybody, this would be hilarious. If anybody's in London, the Oxford Street Adidas store, if you happen to go in there and usually around the football boots, if there's a lad that looks like he could snap you in two, he's a power lifter called Harry. Just say hi. Just go up to him and just be like, "Hi, Harry," and just walk off. That would just be hilarious. Like, he'd just be like, "What the hell's going on?" You can be like, "Boot Wizard says hi." But yeah, look, he's massive man and the friendliest man in the world. He's so nice. DJ, yes, you can pay a Pro Direct membership and you get free shipping and returns. Absolutely true. Which is completely worth it. And like I say, direct from Nike, Adidas, New Balance, Puma, the companies themselves all offer free returns. So that's a good way to be able to try multiple sizes.
Pro Direct will match size. Will match. Oh, Sports Direct will match prices. Interesting.
Oh, interesting. I don't think they have a very good return policy, but it is interesting.
But that's a handy tip.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good tip.
Boots are too expensive. Support your local boot nerds.
Yeah, support your local boot nerds.
If you want to get started yourself, message James or I. Just pick up a pen.
We have said many times, it's not. We'd rather more people. It's not like, oh, there's competition. We want more people in this space. More the merrier. I feel like while this has gone off on a tangent, we have actually seemed to have inspired a couple of people to give this a go. So I feel like this was something very positive to come out of this. And even some of the lads that we know that maybe weren't doing a lot of reviews and things like that maybe are leaning into it a little bit more. I love to see that. Like Justin, Texas Cleat Collector, Footloose Boots, Proper Boots, all doing little bits of reviews and content. Absolutely love seeing it.
If Colby would stop having kids, maybe he could do that. If
Colby would stop having kids, Colby would be a great person to do indoor and things like that. He has a lot of indoors and turfs. He'd be a great source for those.
Yeah.
Football aesthetics. What about Sport It First? They resell older models for much cheaper. I don't know it.
Yeah, I've never heard. I'll have to look that up afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Vu, I've got 6 boots ready to be reviewed for YouTube. Yeah, do it.
Whoop. Do it, man.
You just have to be consistent. It doesn't need to be every day. I tried doing that when I started, and that was a nightmare. But you just have to do it consistently. So, I try. I don't know, not as successful, but I try to have a new review out every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's all the pressure I put on myself.
If you're doing YouTube, there's that is my first piece of advice for anybody who wants to do YouTube. Pick a day, pick a time, and release. So whether you decide you're going to do every Monday, or whether you decide you're going to do every other Monday, or you're going to just do one a month and you're going to do it on the first Monday of each month. Just pick a day, pick a time, and just do that. YouTube loves that for a starter. They love a bit of consistency. Your audience will love that. And it gives you a really solid platform where you're like, okay, this is what I'm working towards. It helps you stay organized. I am horrible for that kind of I don't work like that. So it's really good for me to be like, okay, I release. If anybody's unsure, by the way, I release Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3:15 p.m. GMT. Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do the live podcast on a Friday at 11 p.m. GMT. The edited podcast goes up on the channel at 11 a.m. GMT. And then if you're lucky, and I've absolutely lost my mind, you will get an additional video on either a Saturday or a Monday, usually a Saturday, also at 3:15 GMT.
Very lovely.
So yeah, I make a lot of content, guys. I make a lot of content. And if you happen to want to become a member, which I don't know if I've mentioned that, thank you, my lovely members that are in the chat right now. You can have all of my content way in advance, because not only do I make that much content a week, I also give extra content to members at the same time. So at the moment, if you were a member, along with some fantastic Gripsock discounts, you could see my Puma Future 8 review. You could see my custom Adler video. You could see my 6-month Adidas F50 review, a review on the GT Gripsocks, a review on some $80 K-leather football boots, my Sakito Skidetta 6-month review. The list goes on. My Puma King match review, my Puma King Ultimate versus Pro versus Match buyer's guide. It's all there. It's all for members. It's all for members. Messy View. I think if all the creators met up for a pickup match, that would make for a great video. I'd love to play and film the event. Check out on Instagram. There's a shirts versus boots match that they do every year.
I think they're going to do it overseas this year as well.
They're doing it in the Netherlands. So it's being done, and I believe it is like it's proper stadium too. I think it's like the Hercules Stadium.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be incredible. So yeah, check that out. Anyway. Footloose Boots. James, I can't tell you how much whiplash I get seeing your videos pop up. Video comes out and I'm like, wait, you were reviewing another boot? I just saw you reviewing those boots last week. Footloose Boots is a member, and I do dumps of videos sometimes. So I'm just like, here is like 10 videos for members. Go for it. This is a good question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a good question. I'd definitely like your take on, Andrew. Do you think football reviewers influence a future release of a football boot as much as we think? For example, the Vapors being wider.
Not as much as they should occasionally, but for the most part, not really. It depends on the reviewer. Obviously, the more popular a reviewer is, the more weight is given to their words. But if they see 100 reviews saying their boot is crap, then they'll change something. But the Vapors being wider, that's a long-term goal. So,
I agree. I don't think that, like, for example, me and Andrew, I don't think we have any sway whatsoever, especially not with the big brands. Noah is actually working with some brands, so he's probably got a little bit of influence, but that's more how he's working rather than his reviews, I would say. And I know that there's a few brands that definitely watch Josh's stuff, because that definitely has an influence on their sales because he's got such a huge platform. So how much it impacts is questionable, but they're definitely at least watching it. That's for sure.
A couple other questions. Chris Lang, Nike website exited New Zealand market. There's no way for me to get free shipping and return boots from their official website. Don't buy from Nike.
Sucks. Yeah, don't buy Nike boots. Screw them.
Don't buy Nike boots. Someone asking about membership issues. You should probably DM James about that.
Dr. Astute, how would one go from the bench to starting 11? Can't find a way to change my tier. DM me. I'll look into it, but it should literally just be like a button where you can be like, I want to upgrade. I will look.
Football aesthetics. I've just saved up for a football boot. Any suggestions what to buy in regards to the widest fitting boots from the past year? So the Adler Yadigar shoe is actually really wide.
Nike Phantom GX.
Nike Phantom GX. The New Balance 2E models.
Yes, if you've got a genuinely wide foot, if you want a proper wide fitting boot, New Balance 2E is the way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Footloose boots. They can kill a boots release. Here's looking at you, Future 8. That was Cucurella. That wasn't like that. That definitely wasn't like my review's not even out yet. Josh's review is out. I don't know whether that was positive or not. I haven't actually seen it.
I didn't watch it.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I will watch
Athleta.
it.
I forgot the Athleta T007 they're on now. If you're going to get a pair of those from Tokyo Football, those are fantastic wide-fitting boots.
There you go.
Great value for money.
Chris Wang, or the Bring Back the Preds by the boot community. See, that is a good one to point out, I think, in terms of like influence. So it's not an individual reviewer.
Yeah,
it's an
that was more the community.
overall. That's everybody, and to me, like that's not only just people in the community. That is the general boot buying public. That is a vote with your wallet. The general boot buying public would buy the Predator.
Yep.
It's a name they recognize. It's essentially like an IP. Like it's a name they recognize, and they're willing to go and buy Predators because they know Predators. So, I think the boot community probably did have a sway in that, but I think that was also like a general boot buying public. They definitely, brands definitely do pay attention to a degree. I mean, we wouldn't have the Predator archive the way that we would otherwise.
Yeah.
So,
New Balance wide versions much wider than other boots. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are like. So the New Balance, so there's boots out there, like for example, the Phantom GX Elite, where I'm like, that is a wide football boot that is probably a little bit too wide for my foot, and I have a little bit too much room under the instep. A New Balance wide fitting boot, I wouldn't be able to wear. Like I could wear it, but it'd just be simply too wide. Like it would be just unusable for me for anything. Josh, we actually covered that question on a different podcast, so we won't get into that one just now. If you're in charge of Puma and they're in the trenches to improve their football boot silos in 3 changes, what would you do? We did a whole podcast on Puma. That was the main topic. Again, if you check out the podcast playlist, you'll be able to find the one on Puma, and we discuss all the silos, what we would do with them, how we would change them, things like that. So always handy. Cool.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you very much for joining us. Things to do today are to obviously like this video, get subscribed to the Boot Wizard channel, and do consider becoming a member. It is hugely beneficial to the channel, costs you teeny tiny amounts of money, and you get huge discounts on grip socks, and you also get all of my videos nice and early. There are some other grip discounts that I do on grip socks that are slightly less discounted, but are available for non-members. So do please check those out as well. Head over to Andrew's blog at lockhartbootblog.com, and also find him on Instagram at lockhartbootblog. And most importantly, while you are over at Lockhart Bootblog, take a look on his story, have a look at the boots that are for sale, and support a man, help a brother out,
please,
and see if you want to buy some boots.
Yep.
There we go.
Thanks, guys.
That's it, guys. And if you
watching.
have, there's a few questions we might have missed there. You can DM me or Andrew, and we will try and answer them next week, or we will just DM you back and give you an answer.
Yep.
One or the other.
Alrighty.
Laters, guys.
See you.
Yes, Alex. Go film content. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.